This is my attempt at vertical vegetable gardening. So it's a hydroponic stroke aquaponic style garden, and the idea is you can garden vertically. It's getting more and more popular now, and this is my attempt at it. I initially tried with things like cabbage and stuff like that, but I didn't get it very good. However, what did really well was watercress. In some ways too well. I'll explain why in a moment. So watercress, really like this sort of environment. This was actually on Gardener's World when I was on it in June, and it was particularly lush and green then. Obviously we've passed that point now, but come next year we'll do it all again. So I'll just try and explain a bit how it works and the idea behind it. I think I've got it just how I want it, but there's always room for improvement. So you start off with a reservoir. So in this case it's like a trough pond I've made. Now, one of the things I've done with this, just to make it more interesting than anything, it's nothing related to the plants growing in it, but I've filled it more or less with rocks. Now, say you wanted a pond, but you had kids and you were nervous about that, or something like that, or a pet. This is a really good way of doing a pond, which is good for nature, but also very safe, because you make the actual pond, and then all you do, you fill it with rocks, and that's really good for habitat and all that sort of thing. I bet we'll have a look. This is also a next feature under here. Have we got anyone? Not today, which is unusual. However, that doesn't really matter, because what I'm showing you here is this is where the pump lives. So I've got the pump here, which goes up this pipe, and I've got all these little cuts. You can do all sorts of things like that, and that's around it just to kind of filter out all the muck and stuff to keep the pump clean. But yeah, usually there's a frog there, but not today. Anyway, so it goes up here, this pipe, all the way to the top, and then what happens, it flows along, it fills these chambers and comes down these pipes. I've left a couple in just to sort of see, so I'll give you an example of here. So I previously just put them in loose, but watercress grows really vigorously and you get really big roots. So rather than having the roots blocked it, by doing this it just makes it much more manageable. And if you look, there's all sorts of critters and things in here. So see, there's a critter there, all sorts of things like living in that. So you've got all lots of bits of wildlife in there, but by being in those cups, I can snip the roots if needs be, if they get too big, so that they don't block the pipe as easy. Now, when you first plant it up, you need lots of water in each tube, but as it gets bigger, the roots fill out, so they don't need the water to be as deep. So what I do is use these pipes, and all these are, I've cut a hole in the bottom. There's a rubber seal here, and if you look at this bit here, you can see where the depth is. Now, say that's too deep, all I do is pull the pipe down a bit, and that'll drop the water accordingly. So I can adjust the water level to whatever depth I want it to be. Just fine. And I can do that on each part. Now ideally what you want to do is have these at each end, so that should be at this end, that should be at that end, and that should be at this end. It's only just because of over time of making it and adjusting it that's like that, but that would be the ideal, because then it works like a river. Pump wise, it doesn't need to be a heavy flow, it doesn't need to be a strong flow, just a steady, because it's not the idea. It's like a little stream, and then it all comes down here eventually, and again this keeps it all oxygenated, so it's all nice clean water, and then it goes back and all around. So you just keep doing that. Occasionally I've got the tap here, so occasionally I need to top it up. I use rainwater if I can, but if it's in the middle of summer, the only problem with this, well, it's not a problem, but obviously that's a lot of water, it's a lot of surface area, so that's a lot of evaporation. Now with the pots in it sealed, it does reduce it considerably. However, I will have to top it up occasionally, but it's the maximum of use of water you can get for gardening, I would say. And I do intend to expand on this, but this is still the experiment stage, but hopefully if I manage to get it successfully, I'm going to expand on it. And something you can do, say you had a big fish pond or something like that, you can incorporate this with a fish pond, because obviously fish are pooping, and that's all really good nutrients for plants. So you could have, say this was a big fish pond here, you do exactly the same system, but it'd be your fish fertilising it. So it would go around, plants would clean all the water, and then it would go back into the fish pond. So that's another method of doing it. So yeah, I'm very keen on the idea of this, and it's something I want to really expand. And this is the pilot scheme, as it were, but it's the best use of growing space you're going to get for a vegetable garden.